in the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Barry G. Fowler, EA, brings you Tax Talk for You right here on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV. As an enrolled agent and a national leader in tax resolution, as well as trucker, bookkeeping, and tax planning with over 30 years of experience, Barry will break down taxes, bookkeeping, tax planning, and tax relief for individuals and businesses just like you. So let's have some Tax Talk for You with your host, Barry G. Fowler.
Hey, welcome. Let's get rolling here. You know, we get to meet with truckers and work with a lot of truckers in setting up their business, their bookkeeping, preparing to keep their taxes as low as possible every year. And we do this, you know, not just at some of the major events that happen for truckers across the country, but we do this at a special event every year with Owner-Operator Independent Drivers Association's foundation that puts on Truck to Success seminar. And this is mainly, you know, people getting out from being a W-2 driver to becoming an owner-operator, or even owner-operators that want to learn how to do business better. And the foundation puts on this event generally every October. They haven't set the dates yet, and it's up there in Blue Springs, Missouri, just down the street from OOIDA's headquarters. So if you're serious about your desire to become an owner-operator, then you know, OIDA's expert staff, as well as I and a few other partners come out there to guide you and talk about business, you know, and doing everything from setting up a business plan, what equipment you may be needing, new versus used, equipment financing, insurance, the big decision to be an owner operator under your own authority or even leased onto a carrier. New entrant safety audit and compliance reviews, drug and alcohol permits and licensing, brokers and factoring. I don't recommend factoring. It is an expense out there. And finish with current issues that affect the industry and what they can do to respond to those things. I get to come up and talk about business structures, lease purchase and how depreciation and leasing affect your taxes. And of course, you know, bookkeeping and taxes. So, you know, it's really good to get to an event like this and be able to socialize with people in the industry, other truckers, and even myself. Yeah, I enjoy coming up there and being at that seminar because it gives me a chance to sit down and talk to people that are, you know, behind the wheel, driving the trucks, and get a feel for, you know, what they're doing, what they're planning on doing. And it's a great back and forth that's out there. So it's really good. You know, some of the other events that, you know, we go to, Mid-American Trucking Show, Walcott, and I think we've been to the Texas Trucking Show. And so we get a chance to get out and meet with truckers, and we talk about bookkeeping and taxes and how to save you from the IRS. So one of the fun things that I've gotten to do is not just come out to these events and talk or speak, come to some of the events with OIDA and speak there about trucker taxes and bookkeeping, but I also get to write for Landline Magazine. And you can go there to Landline Magazine when the magazine comes out and see our articles on trucking and taxes. hey, we have great articles that's there. We're working on our next article that we've got to get in here soon. And that'll be out in the February edition. Not sure what we're writing on yet, but we're still working on that. So if you have ideas, hey, text us and let us know, and we'll try to encompass that into some of the articles that we do write this year. So what we talk about when we talk about bookkeeping, and when we talk about bookkeeping, we're looking to do bookkeeping to help you with taxes and reduce the burden of the taxes that you pay. You already pay too much in tax. So we find ways to reduce those taxes, whether we're using an entity to do it or whether we're using bookkeeping. And even if you're using an entity, we use bookkeeping also to help you reduce those taxes and find more write-offs, more deductions that will lower the taxes that you're going to pay. So when we're at Truck to Success, and again, you can find Truck to Success on OOIDA's website. Just do a search for it on their website, and they'll keep you up to date on what the dates are going to be. I'm sure it's going to be late October. But we talk about the most expensive mistakes that cost you, the truck driver, and even any small business owner, thousands of dollars in taxes. And that big mistake is bad or no bookkeeping. Now, here, truckertaxtools.com can set you up with good bookkeeping, and we try to keep it simple. And so one of the approaches that we use is the old KISS way of doing things. Keep it simple and smart. All right. And that's what you want to do. You want to keep it simple and smart. So simple, a lot of times, is just using a good bookkeeping service to help keep track of what you've got going on and take the burden off you. Now, if you're in the trucking industry, we recommend you make sure you find somebody that's in trucking and knows trucking to find you the most write-offs and deductions that you can find. If you're small business in any other industry, again, sometimes it's finding that person that has that niche in bookkeeping that will know your business inside and out. And having that kind of person helps provide you with better bookkeeping, better knowledge. And especially if they've been in the industry a long time, because the knowledge that they have is going to be hopefully vast, and hopefully they continue taking continuing education to continue to expand their knowledge of not just the industry that they're working in, but to be able to help you in your industry as well. And that's where Trucker Tax Tools comes in. We're here to help you in your industry and keep it simple and smart. See, if you're smart, you're finding ways to keep it simple. You're finding ways to do this easy. And you're making sure that you're not spending valuable time as an owner-operator sitting at home trying to figure out bookkeeping. Am I getting all the right deductions? That you could be spending time with your family. So that's where we come in. But hey, you want to do it yourself. We understand that. We have a lot of people that come to us and want to do it themselves. Now, make sure you're keeping track of everything. And don't be missing deductible business expenses. Don't come to us with incomplete bookkeeping, because then you're going to have to go back and do it again and figure out, hey, what did I miss? Read your settlement statements. You as an owner-operator, whether you're leased on or you're driving for somebody else, if they're providing you settlement statements, make sure you're reading those settlement statements. If you're invoicing and incurring all the expenses yourself and paying them, you're not going to have that settlement statement. but you want to make sure that you're looking and getting paid what you're supposed to be getting paid. If you're using a broker, you're finding loads yourself, make sure you're getting paid the full value that's out there. We talk about bookkeeping done by people that don't know anything about this industry. Not knowing anything about this industry doesn't get you all the deductions that you should be getting. Or finding people that are going to do bookkeeping that only care about themselves. What's their bottom line? Not your bottom line. We're here to help you find somebody that's going to help you and have an interest in your business. See, that's why part of what we do is free consultations, free consulting. So if you're a bookkeeping client, call us anytime you want. And we're going to talk about what's going on for your bookkeeping and how you can help yourself, keeping it simple, keeping it smart. And that's what we want to do for you and help you and guide you down the road with all the right tools to make it simple and smart. Hey, so if you want a free consultation, pick up that phone and call Trucker Tax Tools at 877-996-2477. Again, 877-996-2477. Or go to truckertaxtools.com and let us talk to you about what's going on in your business and how you can keep it simple and smart and use a service to get you more freedom with your family and doing less work on your own. Hey, when we come back right after this, we're going to talk more about how to keep it simple and doing it yourself. We'll be right back after this.
We have only scratched the surface of today's show. Please stand by as Barry G. Fowler will be right back with Tax Talk for You. If you owe the IRS or are going through an IRS audit, don't go at it alone. Call Taxation Solutions Tax Relief at 888-930-1016. We are your solution for IRS debts, audits, back taxes, garnishments, liens, and levies. Whether you're an individual or business, you need a solution and a strong, aggressive tax resolution. Don't let the IRS walk all over you. Stop the IRS now. Call 888-930-1016 or go to taxationsolutions.net now for a free, no obligation consultation. Let's get back to Tax Talk for You with more Tax Talk. Once again, here's your host, Barry G. Fowler.
Hey, welcome back. We're talking about keeping it simple, keeping it smart. And trucker bookkeeping, keeping it simple, keeping it smart is what you need to do and makes your life easier when it comes to tax time. So how do you keep it simple? Save every receipt. Open a separate checking account just for business, whether you're doing it as a DBA, running it through your own personal checking account. It makes it sloppy, makes it messy. You don't know what's going to be personal, what's going to be business. If you have a corporation, LLC, your bank's going to make you open up a separate checking account for that LLC or Inc., but run only business expenses through that account. Keep business and personal separate. Again, keep business and personal separate. Don't run it through the same account. I have a lot of lawyer friends now. I'm not a lawyer, never wanted to be a lawyer, don't charge legal fees. We'll tell you that if you're running a corporation and you're looking for protection of that corporate veil, as they say, commingling business and personal takes that corporate veil and it's shot. Okay. And you're now still one and the same. There is no protections. So talk to your attorney when you're setting up your business about that corporate veil and protections and what it's going to do for you. A lot of times we use business entities to save taxes. Not necessarily we're ever looking at the liability protection. That's a lawyer's job. We're looking at how can we reduce taxes through the use of entities. That's a whole long topic another day. We're talking about bookkeeping, keeping it simple. You want to do it yourself? Keep it simple. Keep it smart. Use a separate credit card for business expenses. Try to get one in the business name. If you can't get one in the LLC or corporation's name, then you need to set aside a single card to use in your business. It's only business expenses. And that's what we recommend you do. Save a copy of your logbooks. Now, that used to be easy because they were paper logs, and now you've got to deal with the ELDs. Talk to your ELD provider and download that log at least once every 6 months. They do overwrite, and I don't believe every ELD company holds your logs for longer than 6 months, but check with them and make sure you get that log downloaded periodically so you don't lose your records and your history. Get a notebook to carry with you, and put it in your receipt envelope. If you have a receipt envelope there, keep your notebook, keep notes. What was this for? And make sure you've got it. Loans. Keep your loan documents. Read them. And, funny story is hey, we talk to people at Truck to Success about reading your paperwork. We even show paperwork where truckers haven't read a single word on a loan agreement or lease agreement, but they've signed it, and it's mostly blank. You say, how can it be? People are in a hurry these days. They just go through and do it. You have your phone. So many times people are going through and they send you stuff to sign. You don't read anything. DocuSign is really nice, but do you read all the words that are there in DocuSign before you sign the document? Most likely not. You skim through it. Don't skim through these things. These are important. These things cost you money. So read your documents. So keep your loan paperwork. Equipment purchases. Read it. See what's in it. Don't just look at what the payment is. Look how long the payment is. What interest are they charging you? If it's a lease, how long is the lease? What do you have as a buyout at the end? Read your documents. Save those agreements. And save all your records. And so you're trying to find every way to keep things simple. Keep it smart. So here's a good example of a basic record keeping procedure for you as an owner or operator. Buy that expanding folder, the one that expands and has the different slots in it. You can get it at any office supply store. You could probably even have it ordered at Amazon and have it delivered to you, along with a stapler. A desktop calculator with the register tape is preferable. Fill out the pocket labels with various categories of expenses, income, expenses such as maintenance, fuel, meals, equipment, settlements, office supplies, and general truck supplies. When you get a receipt or settlement statement, drop it in the corresponding folder. It keeps it there. It keeps it simple. You then have those receipts. So keep it together. All the receipts in each pocket as you've put them in there. Staple the calculator. So when you get done at the end of the month, you total those up. And if you got that registered receipt, staple it to it. Or if you use a spreadsheet, you can put in the line items and put everything in. Just make sure you've got everything corresponding into those categories. Put them back into the same slot. And since they're stapled together, they're not going to get mixed up with new receipts that are coming in. So you've got the month of January. You're starting right now. You start putting those fuel receipts into the fuel category. You start putting those supply receipts into that supply category. You put the meal receipts into the meal category. And you make it simple. Now, you can supplement the system, and I love doing this, by noting your odometer reading on the last day of every month. So January 1, you should have noted December 31st odometer reading. And therefore, you've got the beginning odometer reading in your truck for the first of the month. And at the end of the month, so January 31st, you're going to write down your odometer reading then. Now, you now have the ability to calculate how many miles you drove for the month of January. And once you have all your expenses in here, you now have all the costs per mile. And you can do a very simple calculation of what is your true cost per mile per month. Now, this doesn't give you your fixed costs and your operating costs. This gives you what your total cost per mile is on the road for you driving your truck. Hey, why do you want to do that? It's a good thing to know that, hey, this is what it's costing me to drive my truck per mile every month. So before you take a load, you know how many miles you're going to have to drive. You're going to know what your cost was the previous month. And you'll be able to say, this is approximately what my cost is going to be this month. Am I going to make money? Now, variable changes in fuel costs, meal costs, supplies, maintenance and repairs, those will vary month to month, year to year. But it gives you a good idea of what your costs are going to be. Now, if you see fuel costs going up, maybe you're getting a supplement for fuel. And if you're getting that supplement for fuel, maybe that helps offset some of those costs that are over there. So read your contracts. What does your contract say? If you're leased on with somebody, what does that lease say with the company that you're driving for? Are you getting that supplemental fuel? The only way to know is to read. So you can get a little more sophisticated in your cost per mile. OIDA has a wonderful worksheet that calculates cost per mile. And you can go to their website and do a search for cost per mile. We talk about this at Truck to Success because you do have a fixed cost of such things as insurance you're going to pay whether you're on the road or not, your truck or lease payment, your trailer lease or payment. Those are going to be some fixed costs you're going to have whether you're driving this truck on the road or it's sitting. You don't make money when it sits, but you also don't make money if you don't price your loads properly. And if you just take loads to take loads and you're losing money, you're just not helping the industry increase prices. You're actually losing money out there driving your truck on the road. And when we come back, we're going to talk about a lot of the most overlooked truck driver deductions there are. And we're going to be right back after this.
We have only scratched the surface of today's show. Please stand by as Barry G. Fowler will be right back with Tax Talk for You. As an owner-operator, you already spend too much time away from your family. Trucker Tax Tools handles all your bookkeeping and taxes no matter what level trucker you are. Life on the road can be taxing, but that doesn't mean that your wallet or time with your family should suffer. Trucker Tax Tools makes your life run smoothly. Go to truckertaxtools.com for a free guide that will give you the tools to never worry about your taxes again. Call Trucker Tax Tools 877-966-2477 or go to truckertaxtools.com now and let the experts keep you trucking. Let's get back to Tax Talk for You with more Tax Talk. Once again, here's your host, Barry G. Fowler.
Hey, welcome back. We're starting to get some questions in here. We're going to be talking about the most overlooked truck driver deductions that are out there, and we get a good laughs over some of the stuff because some of it's really basic. Some of it's things that, hey, you just buy and maybe it's not a lot of money, but you got to remember every little deduction, counts. If it's $100 out of your pocket and you're self-employed doing Schedule C, if you don't take that deduction, that's $100. It just costs you a minimum of 15, which is the self-employment tax on it. And then your federal tax rate, let's say it's another 20%. So there's another $20. And let's say you now have state taxes as well at, let's say 5%. There's another $5 roughly. So, not taking that deduction, you're out the 100, but then now, you're out another 40. So that not taking that deduction costs you an extra $40. So, hey, take that deduction where you can get it, and every dollar helps save you money on taxes. So, we've seen people overlook association dues. If you're a member of OOIDA Foundation or American Trucking Association, deducting association dues, that is deductible. Your bank fees, the bank charges you money. Now, don't be like some people, hey, you don't keep enough money in your account and you're getting NSF fees, insufficient fund fees, charges all the time. That becomes really, really expensive. And, we've seen people run, $1,000 in NSF fees in a year. Hey, that's money out of your pocket. It may save you money, but it's not a real smart thing to do. It's not a smart way to run your business. So make sure you've got money in your account. And, if it requires a minimum balance, try to stay above that minimum balance so you're not having to pay the bank fees every single month that's out there. Your cell phone internet plans, those are deductible. Now, cell phones, if you're using them for personal and you have one cell phone, of course, sometimes it's going to be used for personal. You're going to have to designate how much of the cell phone is used for personal versus business. 80-20, 90-10, 50-50. How much time do you spend making phone calls on this? We understand cell phones are used. A lot of times they're used for the GPS. A lot of times they're used for their internet. A lot of times it's not just the phone calls, but you're on the road most of the time. So, you're going to have to designate business or personal and be able to support that as well if the IRS was to come and ask. You bought a coffee pot for the truck. Hey, that's deductible. Your certifications, whether it's hazmat, whatever certifications you're running, getting those certifications or renewing those certifications are deductible. Your calculator, cleaning supplies to clean the truck inside and out, chains, envelopes, so that expanding folder and the envelopes you may be using inside that are all deductible. Your stapler, our tax and bookkeeping services are deductible as well. So it does save you money. Any license fees that you're having to pay. Fire extinguisher. Hey, it's cold right now. Ice scrapers. Excise taxes. Road atlas. Yes, I know. Everybody should be required to carry a road atlas. GPS doesn't work every single place. Sometimes you want to take a detour and you need to look at a map. I taught my kids a long time ago how to read a map. And we got GPS. Well, when your daughter drives from, Houston to Lubbock or Amarillo or somewhere up in the Panhandle, and all of a sudden GPS doesn't work and she doesn't know where she's at, she's got to be able to read a map. You're out there driving a truck. All of a sudden, your GPS isn't working and you need to find the way around. Hey, road atlas, and it's tax deductible. Of course, your fuel and your truck operating expenses are all deductible. Paper, pens, envelope, insurance. So workers' comp, liability, those are all deductible. Life insurance is not tax deductible. Your health insurance, depending on how it's structured, is able to be used as self-employed health insurance. Now, it's not a deductible write-off on a Schedule C, so it's not going to impact your self-employment taxes, but it will help reduce your federal income taxes there. So make sure you're keeping track of that. Interest expense. So depending on the type of loan you have, you're going to have interest expense. Sometimes it's really high. Watch those interest rates. Read your contracts. If you're on a lease, well, there's two different types of leases. There's an operating lease and a capital lease. Operating lease, you're just going to deduct the lease expense. There's going to be no interest. Capital lease, we've got to calculate how much the interest expense is in that lease, because now you're depreciating the equipment, and that lease has two components, paying for principal and interest. Labor, lumpers, anybody you're using to maybe drive a truck for you. If you're operating a fleet or a small fleet, you'll have owner-operators out there possibly driving for you, or they may be employees and you would have to do payroll. License fees, maintenance and repairs. Now, maintenance and repairs, that's another whole big topic, because you've got to look at how maintenance and repairs are. General repairs that don't increase the useful life of the truck and just maintain it are a write-off. But major repairs, transmission, engine, are now capital repairs and have to be depreciated. We'll go over that in some other segment in the future. So make sure you subscribe to taxtalk4u.com and go to Trucker Tax Tools on Facebook and link and follow us over there, so we'll be able to keep you up to date and new things that we've got coming on at Tax Talk for You. But it's really simple to subscribe, and then you'll always stay abreast of everything we've got going on here at Tax Talk for You. DOT medical exams, those are deductible. Your other medical expenses are not going to be deductible here on Schedule C, or for your business, you're going to have to do it on Schedule A if you're itemizing. Safety gear, satellite radio, TV, subscriptions, including subscriptions like YouTube TV and other channels that you may be subscribing to while you're on the road, like your satellite radio and stuff. Tolls, parking, those are all deductible as well. Tools, travel expenses, lodging, uniforms, education, postage, scale fees, those are all deductible expenses. You got to make sure they're ordinary and necessary expenses for your business. Hey, we're going to take a quick break here, but when we come back, we're going to talk about ordinary and necessary, and then we're going to hit the most important topic for you as an owner-operator, per diems, and we'll be right back after this.
We have only scratched the surface of today's show. Please stand by, as Barry G. Fowler will be right back with Tax Talk for You. As an owner-operator, you already spend too much time away from your family. Stop spending time doing paperwork. Go to truckertaxtools.com, a solution built specifically for truckers. Truckertaxtools.com makes your life run smoothly. Let's get back to Tax Talk for You with more Tax Talk. Once again, here's your host, Barry G. Fowler.
Hey, welcome back. We talk about all these expenses that are out there for your business. And whether you're a truck driver, owner, operator, if you're driving for yourself, not a W-2 driver, owner or operator, you're out there on the road driving your own truck, your own rig, and whether you're leased on or you're got your own authority or you're invoicing, expenses need to be ordinary and necessary per the IRS. Now, all these expenses we went through are ordinary and necessary type expenses for the business. Now, you can't get carried away when you're writing things off for supplies that are, used at your house for personal things, but this needs to be stuff that you're using for the business within the business. And so you're going out and using this stuff and required for your operations of your trucking business. And remember, it's yours. And then keep it simple. And the questions we've been coming in here and talking to people, we talk about stuff that is important to you. And the biggest one is per diems. You as a self-employed driver, you can generally deduct expenses incurred to earn your income. And if you're a W-2 driver, you're limited to non-reimbursed expenses required by your employer. But Form 2106 went away many years ago, so you're not getting those deductions if you're a W-2 driver. But as a self-employed individual, or if you're running your own S Corp, Inc., LLC, corporation, you are entitled to per diem for overnight and motel expenses. A good rule of thumb to follow would be and expenses, any deductions that would be incurred that are necessary or required for the performance of your job or operations of the truck, you should be able to write off. Per diems are the thing that we see a lot of tax preparers miss the most for you as an owner operator, truck driver. IRS publication 463, travel, entertainment, gift, and car expenses allows for a standard meal and incidental expense deduction for those in the transportation industry. So you can either save all your receipts for meals and incidental expenses and deduct those at tax time, or you would take the IRS standard meal allowance, which is now $80. And that changed effective October 1st of 2024. Now, in the last couple of years, we've been able to take 100%. So 21, 22, we've been at 100% of per diems last year. 2023, 2024, 2025, you're only going to get 80% of the per diems. So for 2024, your per diem was $69 from January 1 to September 30th, and then it jumps to $80 from October 1st to the end of the year. So you're going to need to know how many days and nights you were away from home in order to calculate this. So you need to know how many days I was away from home from January through the end of September. And then the same thing from October to the end of December. And then you're going to need to know how many when you started your trip and end the trip. So your first night and your last night, it only counts as half days. The days the days in between are going to count as full days. So you need to count your days to make sure that you're doing this. Now, your logbook, your ELD, or your paper logs can be used to support the number of nights that you're away from home and on the road. So make sure you're getting a copy of those logs so that you don't miss those per diems. Now, the IRS does have qualifications for truck drivers to be eligible for per diem deductions. And these read like this. The IRS established specific criteria for you in the transportation to claim the standard meal incidental expense deduction on your taxes, and you have to be employed, guess what? In the transportation industry. And your job must keep you away from home on a regular basis long enough for you to sleep away from home. So if you're one of these truck drivers that are doing local and you return home every night, you're not getting the per diems, and you're not able to deduct your lunches unless you're having a business meal. Your job must directly involve moving goods or people by truck, train, bus, ship, airplane, or barge. IRS require qualifications for truck drivers to be eligible for per diem deductions. Here's the big one. You must have a tax home. To qualify for a tax home, you are required to incur expenses to maintain the home while you're on the road. So whether you're leasing an apartment or have a house, you've got to be paying to maintain this. Now, if you live with somebody else, it's not your home. If you're leasing from them, it becomes your home. If you live in your truck, they consider that to be a tax turtle. Your home moves with you. You never leave home. You're not getting per diems. And make sure you're able to track your nights on the road. Now, if you are a business and you've got employees and you're in the transportation business and you've got truckers driving for you, you can call us. We can structure a plan for you that increases their take-home pay by using per diems that you pay for them to be on the road overnight. Save yourself money on payroll taxes if they are on W-2 wages, which if they're employees of yours, they have to be on W-2 wages. We can develop a system that allows you to pay per diems and reduce the taxable income that your drivers have with the use of per diems. And we talked about OOIDA's Truck to Success. We've talked about OOIDA's cost per mile. And if you go to OOIDA.com/trucking-tools/cost per mile, you'll be able to get to their cost per mile worksheet and be able to fill that in. It is a really nice worksheet, and it does help you figure out your fixed cost versus your variable costs. Now, we're trying to do everything we can to keep this simple. And how simple you keep it is really up to you. You want to make it as simple as possible. And we try to make it as simple as possible for you. We even have a great worksheet that you can use to come up with your own plan on how to do your own bookkeeping and save the most money possible. You know, we talk about the most overlooked truck driver deductions, and we look a lot of times back at things like personal supplies. You know, not all personal supplies are considered tax deductible. And in order for personal supplies to be considered tax deductible, they have to be ordinary and necessary for your operating your business. And here's a few examples of things that we see missed as personal supplies that could be deducted. Uniforms, gloves, motel expenses, boots, showers. Hey, you're on the road. Those are deductible. You know, personal supplies and supplies is a broad tax deduction category that we'll really have to think about. Keeping in mind the IRS words ordinary and necessary will make it easier to decide whether or not an item is tax deductible. Communication. You know, similar to the previously mentioned truck driver deductions, any technology needed for communication in order to run your business can be considered tax deductible expense. As a truck driver, there are many methods of communication that you will be able to deduct from your taxes. Some examples of these communications are going to be CB radio, cell phone, internet, radio, satellite radio, phone cards. Yep, people still do use phone cards to communicate and make the phone calls. CB radios, great devices. I still remember as a kid growing up when my uncle installed a CB radio in my dad's old station wagon, and we were on the road. And, we had fun talking on that radio. Probably drove some of the truckers nuts listening in, and my dad or my mom or I or whoever was on the CB and talking and going from there. And, hey, what's your handle? Those are a lot of fun things that you could do out there. Something else that gets missed quite often is meal and entertainment. So if you're taking clients or prospects out, or you're looking for somebody that's going to provide you loads, and you're out having a business meeting or discussion, and you take them to lunch or take them to dinner, those can be expenses that you write off. It's got to be a bona fide business discussion with client, a prospect, referral sources, business colleagues, and it's 50-50. You write off 50% of it. If husband and wife running a business and your wife is at home taking care of the house, but when you're at home, you guys go out to eat and you guys talk business. Where's the next loads coming from? Maybe she's helping you in the business. Those kind of meals, because you're talking business, are a tax deduction and are deductible business expenses that you can use in your business. You want to keep track of how much, when, where, the business purpose, and what the business relationship is. That helps you save money on your taxes for something that is something you're going to go through and do anyway, and it makes it a tax deductible business expense. There are a lot of other expenses you may not think about that are business related. Think about that term, ordinary and necessary. What can we use in the business? Hey, where will we see you this year? You're a truck driver. What event you're going to go to? Are you going to go to the Texas Trucking Show, Mid-American Trucking Show? You're going to be out at Walcott. We're going to be doing certain events around the country as well. We're going to be out in Leesville, Louisiana for a great Louisiana Moonshine Festival. Hey, what makes taxes easy? Us, Trucker Tax Tools, and moonshine. Hey, moonshine helps you forget about everything. So come to the moonshine event and you'll come see us out there. There's going to be great music and other things going on. Of course, moonshine. You're going to see some good friends of ours like Mike Hughes playing at the event, Dave Gore, Charity Adams. These are people that we've known for years and have been at Mid-American Trucking Show with us. Come out and join us and have some fun out at the Moonshine event. It is in March. It's going to be Friday, March 7th, Saturday, March 8th. Go to LouisianaMoonshineFestival.com and check them out there. The great music that they're going to have out there is from Keeping It Country Live. They are a internet radio station that plays great country music. So if you're on the road looking for something to listen to, that's great country music. You can go see us, but should always be here every Monday at 10 o'clock at taxtalk4u.com, W4CY radio, and join us. So if you haven't done it yet, Go to taxtalk4u.com, subscribe, and be here every Monday. And we appreciate it. You have a safe week out there. If you're a trucker, owner, operator, small businessman, we appreciate everything you guys do for this country. And we look forward to this 2025 being a fantastic and better year for all businesses and owner operators. Thank you for listening.
Are you an individual or business that wants to understand taxes and how they affect you? Are you looking for specific tax advice for self-employed, business owners, and truckers? Are you behind on taxes and your bookkeeping? Are you dealing with the IRS and ready to have some relief? Then you need Tax Talk for You, hosted by tax and trucker expert Barry G. Fowler, EA. Tune in 10 a.m. Eastern Time every Monday right here on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV. Don't forget to check this and past episodes at taxtalk4u.com. See you next week at W4CY.com.